Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to modify your 7 Days to Die Random World Mixer XML file so that you can create the types of biomes that you want, so that if you wanted to have an all snow biome world, you could have an all desert world, you could have all grasslands, forest, you could have all wasteland, you could have a mixture. You will be able to modify that how you want. So what you do is you open your Steam library, right click on 7 Days to Die, go to Properties, Local Files, Browse Local Files, then go to your Data folder, Config folder, and then you're going to go down and you look for a file called rwgmixer.xml. Right click on that, edit it with Notepad, Notepad++, or your favorite text editor. And then what you do is you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see all these lines that say biome spawn rules around line 698. In fact, in the vanilla one, it will be exactly line 698 if you're using alpha 16.4. So as you can see, we got the biome spawn rule name: pine forest, desert, burnt forest, forest, snow, wasteland, plains, radiated, and water. Okay, so each one of these sections deals with that particular biome. Now there's several different lines that you'll see. You got, for pine forest, you got biome generator range. So and then you have terrain generator range. Okay, so now the biome generator range is a number between 0 and 1. So you think of it as a percentage, 0 being 0% and 1 being 100%. So this default is saying that on the map, when it generates, that you could have 0 pine forest or you could have 0.1 pine forest. It's going to be within that range. You're not going to have a lot of pine forest, basically, with those numbers. If you wanted the whole world to be pine forest, you could put 1,1. Or you could, if you wanted to have a minimum amount of pine forest, you could put that in. Now the next one is terrain generator range. This basically says this will only generate pine forest within a certain elevation. Now you think of water as being 0 elevation, right? So anything that's a negative number is underwater, or below sea level, or whatever you want to call it. So this says that pine forest will only generate at an elevation between 150 meters and 175 meters. So it's only going to be high up. It's going to be in a mountainous area, because that's the way the pine forest is envisioned, is that it's a mountainous area, right? Let's go down to desert. Biome generator range. So on the map, you're going to have between 0.1, which you can think of as 10%, between 10% and 0.3, which is like 30%. Because remember, a 1 is 100% and 0 is 0%. So all these numbers are between 0 and 1. So this is between 10% and 30% of the map will be desert. Let's go down to burnt forest. Again, Burnt forest will take up between 30 and 40% of the map because it's 0.3 and 0.4. Go down to forest. Again, biome generator range. 0.4 and 0.6, so between 40 and 60% is going to be forest. Let's see. Snow, we got 0.6 and 0.7. So that's 60% and 70%. So, you know, this is probably not percentages of the whole map as a total, because if you add up all these numbers, they're not going to add up to 100%. So I guess this is like a percentage chance for it to spawn. I don't know exactly, but I know that these numbers, that the higher the number, the more likely it's going to spawn. The lower the number, the less likely. 0 will be no spawning of it. 1 would indicate that you're going to either have a lot of it or all of it. So let's see. Terrain generator range. So snow will only spawn at 176 meters up to 255 meters. And 255 meters, I think, is the highest terrain that you will have in the game. That is, you know, created by the random world mix. Players can build above that, but it's not going to be land. Okay. Wasteland, 0.7 to 0.8. So it's like 70% to 80%. So that's a lot of wasteland, right? Plains, 0.8 to 1. Now, radiated, this has a different argument that's only for the radiated. It's distance from center range. This basically, by these numbers being high, tells it that it's only going to generate radiated terrain at the edges of the map. Because I think the map goes out to 10,000. So anything 10,000 or greater is radiated from distance from the center. And then water, of course, it says terrain generator range minus 31 to minus 1. So water is only going to spawn at negative 31 to negative 1 meters. So you won't have water spawn above that. No lakes high in the mountains sort of deal. So if you wanted to make a winter world like I did, you could change these numbers to 1, 1, and then you would just you could either remove this line or you could change it to 0, 255 so that it could spawn anywhere, right? And then what you would do for the ones that you didn't want there to be, if you didn't want any forest, change it to 0, 0. You don't want any burnt forest, change it to 0, 0. Don't want any desert, 0, 0. Pine forest, if you don't want any pine forest, change that to 0, 0. Wasteland, again 0, 0. Now if you wanted snow and wasteland, you could put in something like 0.1 to 0.3 or something like that. If you wanted to have mostly snow with a little bit of wasteland, you could do that. But if you don't want any wasteland, just put zeros here. If you don't want any plains, you can put a 0. I would say leave these two alone and don't mess with these, or you'll end up getting a funky map. You know, you could end up having an entire map that was nothing but radiated if you messed it up. Or you could, you know, if you wanted to have a water world, you could change this from -31 to 255, so that water could spawn anywhere, right? But you would get lots and lots of water, wouldn't you? You might have a water world. It's things that you can play around with. So when you're done making your changes, you save it and play your game. Now, I recommend that you back this file up before you make any changes to it, because you know, it's easy to screw up, and that way you can revert. Another thing you can do is, if you mess up, you can go back to your Steam library, right click 7-day slot. Did I go to properties, click on local files, and then if you do verify integrity of game files, it will check and it will patch your game back up to vanilla, the current vanilla version, and then everything will be fixed. But if you're using any mods, that will undo any mods that you have made. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and enjoy your 7 days to die. Please give me a thumbs up, comment below with any questions or comments, and we'll see you later. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon.